Yeah, I hope I'm recording again. Yes. This is David, and it's September 19th or 20th, something like that, 2011. You know, on one of my last tapes talking about the marriages and the wives I had, I couldn't remember Saundra. I was married to Saundra, and I need to make a little makeup tape here after my divorce from Carolyn, or annulment from Carolyn. I went to Denver, Colorado, and I met Saundra, and this is a strange story, and I guess the reason maybe that I couldn't remember yesterday when I was talking about my wives and my mind just went blank about Saundra is this is one of the most perhaps humiliating experiences of my life. Have a good education, and you know, this isn't my first rodeo, and I really got kind of sucked into this relationship. She was in Denver, Colorado, and we met, we started dating a little bit, and she just seemed like a troubled woman. And as I probed, and as I tried to befriend her, she was a troubled woman. Her trouble seems, I'm so embarrassed that I got sucked into this. Her trouble seemed to center around the Attorney General of the state of Colorado thinking she should go to jail. That's a big problem in my book. But I'm a kind guy. I'm a guy that says, hey, you know, I'll help anybody. Well, I've learned you don't have to marry everybody that's needy. I used to. Saundra was a master's level counselor in Colorado. She had her own business and her own little office, and people would come in and pay her money for counseling. And Saundra specialized in satanic ritual abuse. And that kind of counseling, there's not a lot of counselors around that can do that. And when I quizzed her as to why that was her specialty, she, over a period of several days and weeks, convinced me that she was a satanic ritual survivor. That as a child, that she had been satanically abused, and because she knows so much about her own life, she's able to counsel and help other people. Well, I was stupid. Maybe I still am. But I fell for that. I felt bad for her. And I said, well, why is the DA, or the Attorney General, it wasn't the DA, it was the most powerful law enforcement officer in the state of Colorado. Why is he interested in you? She said, well, she said, I lost my counseling license. I said, okay, how did you lose that? She said, I'm so embarrassed that I fell for this, which it was true. She did lose her counseling license. And I said, why? And she said, well, because with one of the girls that I was counseling, I slept with. And I said, so you had an affair, a lesbian affair? Yes. I go, oh, okay. And Saundra had taken this woman home with her and allowed the woman to live with her and still counsel her, and they slept in the same bed together, and then there was some oral sex and some other kinds of crazy stuff that went on between them. And the girl said something, and they revoked Saundra's license for that kind of conduct. Usually, in a master's level program, we are taught that that's probably an inappropriate behavior. Well, now it got referred over to the Attorney General, and there was also a civil suit. And me having just enough law background to get in trouble, I took the problem on, and I decided to I should have gone to a mental institution to find more serene people and capable people, but I didn't. And so we decided to get married, and I had to hide her from town to town so she wouldn't get served with the papers for the private civil suit. And the Attorney General, I had to go to the Denver downtown office of her attorney, and her attorney and I discussed what the situation was with the Attorney General, and it was hopeless. The girl really was going to get prosecuted and probably end up in jail. And so I took her in my car, ran her to Ojai, hid her in the mountains, hid her in different apartments, and finally the whole thing just kind of blew over a little bit, and we decided to get married. And on the way back from Colorado, we stopped in Las Vegas, and we went to the drive-up window and decided to get married there. And that's another good decision I made. So anyway, we got married. Well, out of that marriage came my beautiful Genevieve Marie daughter, and Saundra and I decided to start a residential treatment facility for handicapped children in Atascadero, California. So I bought 10 acres, and then we began to develop the development, and I forget if it was 5,000 or 10,000 foot house. It had 8 bedrooms in it, and 4 or 5 bathrooms, and 2 or 3 kitchens, and it was a very beautiful facility. And we were just ready to open it, and the state of California had traced Saundra's behavior and loss of her license back to Tender Heart Ranch that we were building, because Saundra was going to be the clinical director. Well, California went upset that she thought she was going to work in a facility again with no license. So they sued her. And here I am running downtown to Los Angeles, hearings, trying to defend her being in bed with her client, having sex with her client, and then lying in Santa Barbara, California to get a job, and then lying again to become the director of clinical department of Tender Heart Ranch. And so while I am defending her in court, she starts to babble things about satanic ritual abuse, being dipped in blood, wax put on her breast. It went on and on. And I'm trying to talk to the judge, and she's sitting there, Saundra, saying these things. So I asked for a recess. I was asking to go home to try to calm her down and say, you know, don't say this crap. She's going to think you're crazy. So anyway, Jenny was born, and we both adored her, and I spent a lot of time with Jenny, and a lot of time fathering her and riding in the go-kart every night with her, or the golf cart, and bought a horse so that Jenny could feed the horse every night, and just really head over heels in love with Jenny. And I'm not going to go into all the details because, again, they're very difficult for me, because this child, when I married Saundra, she said to me, I would never take your child away from you, when we were deciding if we were going to have a child or not. I said, okay, I'll trust you. Well, the moment that I left, she took the child away from me, got a restraining order, because she was an expert at domestic violence, lied to the judge, and that restraining order is coming up to expire here in the next 2 weeks. So Jenny's 8, and I think I had contact with her till she was 2, so there's been 5 years that I haven't had any contact with her. But I'm pretty much an expert in marrying mental patients and socially inept people, and people who are on the run, and that the DAs want and or the Attorney Generals want. And I think some of my compassion for these people and the boundaries just were not set properly. And I married into some bad situations. and maybe some of my psychological underpinnings themselves. Maybe low self-esteem, or pity, or I don't know what my motivations could have been, but it might have been I was desperate, so I was marrying desperate people. And the families were desperate, the kids were desperate, and now it's just a big mess, especially with the Mormon church. Saundra is a Mormon, Janet and Jeannie and Janice, they're all Mormons, and they've all withheld their kids. That's the Mormon church. Punishment, punishment. So I think I've had enough punishment being married to those people, but they don't think so. So at least I brought you up to date on the Saundra story, because I forgot I was married to her. I'd like to forget that I was married to her. Thanks.